Hey gamers, Rob from Zborgaming here, and we have another recoil guide for you. Today we are going to talk about the sniper rifles and the marksman rifles in Modern Warfare. So let's go ahead and get started. So as far as our testing, we did our recoil testing on Candor Hideout, and with the marksman rifles we tested at 25 meters with the VLK 3.0X optic. And with the sniper rifles, we tested at 50 meters. You can see back a little farther with the variable zoom scope. So this is where we did our testing at. And let's go ahead and take a look at the marksman rifles. So here we have all five of the marksman rifles. We started on the left with the EBR-14. And you can see that's 10 rounds right there. We have a couple bullets that went into the same holes, and you'll see that on some of the rifles here as we go through. Overall, a little bit of a vertical recoil pattern, not a whole lot of side to side. The MK2 carbine only had 4 bullet holes for the 6 rounds, so it stayed fairly accurate, right on target. Same with the Kar98, only has a 5-round mag, and we put 4 of them right there towards the bottom of the X. The crossbow, that's an interesting one. Has very good recoil properties. Obviously, it's very, very slow when you shoot it. But the interesting thing here is with 4 shots, we actually had 8 arrows show up on the wall. So a little interesting how it almost shoots double arrows out. And lastly, we have the SKS. So you can see here that the first shot was very accurate, but after that, we had some jump, and the whole rest of the pattern was up here vertical. Now, I have another weapon guide that I've done already on the SKS, as well as a completely other separate video on how to turn the SKS essentially into a laser rifle with various attachments. And for the most part, that should generally apply across a lot of the other marksman rifles as well. But you can see here that the SKS definitely needs that additional recoil control because of the high bounce after the first shot. So let's go ahead and take a look at some comparison stats across all of the marksman rifles. So you can see here we have the base ranges. So all of these, except for the MK2 carbine, will do their full damage at this 25 meter range. Now the MK2 is meant for a little bit more closer quarters, as its first drop-off range is only 0 to 20 meters. And what this means is that a chest shot at 25 meters for the EBR-14 will kill in 226 milliseconds. Unfortunately, the carbine, because will end up being a 2-bullet kill, will take almost 3 times as long as the EBR with 2 bullets at that range. The Kar98 is a 1-shot kill to the chest, so that only takes 1 bullet at 25 meters. The crossbow is the same, it only takes 1 arrow. Really, there isn't a set range for the crossbow. What they recently did was changed for the total distance it will travel will now go 6 seconds, where it used to be 3. So they slowed the overall speed of the bolt down quite a bit. Now the SKS, you can see, actually has a very fast time to kill at 188 milliseconds, even with 2 bullets. But you're going to have to be much more on target because that first bullet, or that second bullet, really jumps quite a bit when compared with the other marksman rifles. We also have on here the rate of fire, and you can see that the SKS has the fastest rate of fire at 320 RPM, and the crossbow is dreadfully slow at 14 RPM. Our note here says don't miss or you'll be sorry. You basically have to be dead accurate and knock that target out. The Kar98K is also quite slow, but again, it has much more stopping power. So you need to be very accurate with your bullets with the Kar98 and the crossbow. The same actually goes for the MK2 carbine, but if you are under 20 meters, that 1 shot to the chest will kill your opponent. So you still have to be quite accurate with that weapon as well. And last note here on the marksman rifles is that they are all a 1-shot kill to the head within their base range. So you take a look at this base range here, and you hit a headshot, and they will all be a 1-shot kill within that base range. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the sniper rifles now. Now there are 3 sniper rifles. First one we took a look at was the Dragunov. Now this recoil profile here again is at 50 meters, and that's 10 bullets. And you can see that after the first bullet, it jumps probably about 2 feet. So you will no longer, if you hit the chest, um, now granted you will kill your opponent, um, but if you say hit the lower legs, you will most likely miss that second shot at any type of range. It's going to go over their head. So you still need to be quite accurate with the weapon. And anything much longer than 50 meters, you'll be way, way over the target. HDR is sort of the same. After that first bullet, it jumps quite a bit and it doesn't really recenter itself very well. Now you'll see here that this is 5 bullets and I only have 4. I'm not quite sure where that 5th bullet went. It must have went up over the building somewhere. Lastly here, the AX50, you can see here that this has much, much better recoil properties over the first 2 sniper rifles. And here again, just to reiterate, we did our testing at 50 meters with just the variable zoom scope. So there are no additional attachments, anything on these sniper rifles. This is just to show you the base recoil patterns. So last, if we do the same comparison for the sniper rifles, you can see here the number of rounds that each of them have, the base range. So the HDR does have the best base range at 100 meters. And again here, the note we have is that the AX50 and the HDR are a one-shot kill to the head and chest at any range you're at. So if you can hit that first bullet, there's no need for a second one. But if you have a couple enemies to take care of, you're going to really have to, especially with the HDR, get that back on target. Most likely you will have to scope out and scope back in. Actually, the same thing with the Dragunov, because what happens is after you shoot that first bullet, the scope is going to jump and it will not really return. You'll probably have to scope out, scope back in, or manually move your scope back down to the target, unless you have some other recoil attachments on the weapon. So rate of fire, you can see the one benefit you get though with the Dragunov is you can shoot probably 4 bullets off in the time that you can get 2 bullets off with the AX50 or the HDR. So it does have a faster rate of fire, but it is very hard to control. So with that sort of at least gives you the base recoil properties for all the marksman rifles and the sniper rifles within Modern Warfare. Now you can go out and start doing a little bit more gun crafting. We have an AX50 weapon guide that we are finishing up and almost complete, so be on the lookout. That should be coming out soon, and that should give you some additional attachments and things you can use to help kit out your AX50. So thanks for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification to be notified for our upcoming recoil guides as well as weapon guides that we have coming out. We're planning on doing the majority of the weapons in Modern Warfare, and we're about 4 or 5 in, so there's a lot more to come. Again, thanks for watching.